Okay, it's a bit of a question. First bit is a bit of a statement as well. So 2 years into the pandemic and the new rise of Omicron, both my clients and myself are struggling with pandemic and anxiety fatigue. Any suggestions on how to best handle this and navigate the topic as a coach while dealing with my own struggles?
Oh, it's rough. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I feel like everyone's hanging on. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Uh, I don't know. Everyone's. I don't. I feel like we're doing. Our family is doing relatively well, and it doesn't mean that it's easy. The thing that I find for myself is you have to find your team, you have to find your support system, your people. One of the things I feel very grateful for is the strength of the team at Coach Training EDU right now. It's it's exciting, it's fun. It feels like we were just reviewing the number of projects that we completed in 2021 and doing just looking at a post project analysis, and we're planning out the rest of 2022. And I think having gratitude for what you did accomplish in 21, and then looking forward to having very specific goals for what you want to accomplish in 2022 that align with the current conditions makes a very big difference. What I mean by this is historically, after any pandemic, historically, there's a flourishing of culture. Why? Because culture has been asked to do something that's very tough, and that brings a certain level of toughness and resilience and power if you can make it through. And I was talking to there was one person, website marketing person I was speaking with early on in this whole process, and he said, you know, this is the time when anytime there's a huge disruption like this is the time when people like they either like they this is the time to make it. Like this is the time to take the current challenges and ask, what can I do here that after this ends, I'll be in a position to be in a place of flourishing. This for me, and like dealing with our teenagers and little ones, a lot of it is what's the skill set that you can develop individually, so that you know, and we're thinking things like learning to practice the piano, putting together your program, doing the research on developing, you know, the program, or all the things that take a lot of solo, intense, deep thinking. That's what's available right now. So go like align your goals with the current conditions. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, and it's working. Like it is totally working. Like where we're going to be in the next 3 to 6 months from now is it's exciting, and I feel like the level of growth that we're experiencing is it's not showing so much outwardly yet, but it's starting to, and it will. And it's having that vision of this is where I want to be. Like this is where I want to be in 3 months. This is where I want to be in 6 months. It's having that space so clearly defined that the present tense circumstances or challenges don't make as much sense as the vision of what you're going towards. And this is the real use of a goal. It's not so much that you get where you're going to. That's amazing. That's helpful. But it's the you know your goal and vision is useful when you feel your present tense emotion change. And goal setting, that kind of stuff, people often are adverse to it because they feel like in the past they've been disappointed. They don't want to go into it. It's work. It doesn't feel like you're actually like, you know, sometimes putting clarity on these goals doesn't feel like it's that necessary because, well, I know what I need to do anyway. It's really clear to me. My goal is so clear to me. I don't need to write it down. Or this idea, of course I'm going for it. Write it down, plan it, vision it, see it. I've this whole, I mean, I've lived month to month for years, like with lawn furniture being our lawn, we had a wicker deck furniture as our dining room table for 2 years. You have to have, look at this. Really, it's really nuts. You really do have to, that's exactly it. You really do have to have the focus so strong that if something comes up in the meantime, you know what, this isn't part of the vision. Having something, and especially if that vision aligns with change that you want to see in the world, the motivation, the clarity, all of it, it snaps into place.
What are your thoughts, John, on, I was wondering how that connects to, what we're hearing from last year into this year around the Great Resignation, or I was reading about it and it was being referred to as the Great Reset or the Great Reimagination.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on why that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's historically what happens during, it's historically what happens during pandemics, and it happened in what was it, the 1918, 1920. Then you have the Roaring Twenties. Even throughout history, it's surprisingly common. I mean, pandemics are surprisingly common. I didn't even like the Black Plague. In the bubonic plague happening, and looking at what was it, 1200s around in there. Then you have the Renaissance afterwards. I mean, there's some pretty consistent historical patterns that happen. So yeah, if we want to call it the Great Reset, that works. Now's the time to make the moves. And I feel like the pandemic gives people the excuse to make really radical moves. I mean, the word radical comes from the word, means root in Latin, radix. So the idea of we get radish from it. So the idea is pull it up by the root. Like, you are making a move that really gets it's not going to grass, you cut it and it's going to grow back. No, it's out. What do you need in your life to be out? And pull it up by the roots and do the thing, that you really need to do. This is the time to do that. And, but it's mindfulness. It's hard. It's not easy. You need your support group there. You need your people. You need your people.
My biggest takeaway from what you're saying is that support system for me is also, put your own oxygen mask on first. The mindfulness that you're talking about, you can't serve from an empty vessel. Maybe you need your own coach. I have my own coach.
Get a coach. Yeah, if you aren't working with a coach right now, then no, you're not fully in it. You have to fully commit. Yeah.
You've got to take care of yourself. And then I was hearing you say, keep dreaming big, and then also look for what the opportunity is, or what can you kind of pull out from the roots at this time as you move towards dreaming big.
When there's a clear goal, okay, this is where I want to be at this point in time. Mm-hmm. I was even doing this work this morning, looking at some of the number of projects that's happening in the organization right now. It's a lot. It's a thing. As my 5-year-old would say, it's a wow. So you're looking at all these things that are happening, and it is completely overwhelming without a clear idea of this is this clear specific goal that we want to get at, and there's a number to it. There is a clearly measurable yes or no. It starts not only to clarify where you want to be, but then the order of operation and the order of importance of all the other projects that need to fall into place. And that all of this is working well when there are things that you thought, maybe this is something that I need to do, when you realize, no, this is not the thing that needs to happen right now. This is the thing that can wait till later. When you start saying, these are things that can wait till later, that's you're winning. When you're looking at your vision and you're thinking, okay, that's the next most important thing, and with clarity that's the next most important thing, you're winning. When that goal makes you feel more excited and hopeful in the present tense, you're winning. And if you start to add and do a lot of these things and understand this goal is so important that I am willing to go through the hard things. I'm willing to feel miserable. I'm willing to feel rejected. I am willing to not be happy. Those are big things. Like I'm willing to put myself in situations where I am uncomfortable and realize I might not know everything about this. And I can be humble and learn and gain more knowledge and realize I don't need to, yeah, I mean, to put yourself in positions where you're not necessarily the expert for the sake of a larger mission is heroic. And I feel like that to me is what the pandemic, like people who are really moving forward the fastest, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I feel like I'm trying to put myself in places where what does the organization need right now to flourish and thrive, even though there is intense pressures. It's not fun. I am sick of a lot of the stuff that's happening. But what are you gonna do? Yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it, Raj.
Thank you, John. It was really inspiring. I'm gonna review some of my vision. Yeah, got some food for thoughts there. I was having some coaching questions there. Yeah, thank you.